struggle with some things in life, mate. I struggle with one rule for one and another rule for the rest. What I don't understand about Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey, how they can be kept in prison when it's beyond doubt that they're innocent of the crime. What I find even more kind of hard to deal with is that these people seem to do what they want and get away with it because they're in positions of power enable them to do what they want. Then what's the point having a justice system if people can just do what they want? What's the point having a justice system if the law is not upheld? What's the point having a justice system if we don't live by the law and that judicial system is not there and used properly as a judicial system should be used for? Stephen Avery has appealed and the state of Wisconsin have asked for more time. Ask for more time. Why? This should be easy. This should be easy. There should be no time to prepare. Prepare for what? The state of put them in prison for a crime they say is guilty of. Everything should be at hand. There should be no asking for more time. There should be no preparation. It should be right there. Everything should be quite easy to do now. It's right there. And I find that hard to understand that people in positions can just do what they like. You know, Stephen, 18 years in prison, 18 years of his life, and they knew he was innocent. Right from day one, they knew he was innocent. He spent 18 years of his life for a crime they knew he did not commit. And these people are left outside. They have their freedom, and they're the ones who committed the crime. They're the ones who knew about Gregory Allen in 1985. And if they didn't know then, hypothetically, they knew in 1995. And they kept Stephen in prison for a further 8 years. While they enjoyed their freedom and their liberty. When they enjoyed their time with their family and loved ones. And enjoyed life. When it should have been Stephen Avery outside with his family and his loved ones enjoying his life as a free man. Now where in the world, where in society can this happen? And now we know, how can we allow it to continue, happening? This is not just a miscarriage of justice. This is a miscarriage of the judicial system. And Stephen Avery was innocent in 1985. And he's innocent of this crime. And they knew in 1985 and they know now. But because they're the state, because they're in positions, they can do what they want. They're getting paid by the taxpayer to put people in prison. For actually, they should be putting themselves in prison. Because that's what they're getting paid for, to put people like themselves in prison. Andrew Colburn and James Lent were brought into the lawsuit 2 weeks prior to Stephen being arrested for Teresa Halbach's murder. They were brought into a $36 million lawsuit, and the state was responsible for that money. Individual people were responsible for that money. And then Teresa Halbach murdered. And the 2 people who were brought into a lawsuit 2 weeks prior to that, they're the ones who just happened to find the evidence. And these people was brought into the lawsuit 2 weeks prior of a $36 million lawsuit. Tom Kilshea, Judy DeVork, Eugene Kunch, Dennis Vogel. In fact, Tom Kilshea never made it to the deposition hearings, did he? I think he was due. And all of a sudden, Stephen is arrested. And the 2 people who are part of that lawsuit are the ones who find the evidence. And people are asking, is he guilty or not? Is he guilty or not? They knew in 1985. Tom Kilshea knew in 1985. Dennis Vogel knew. Andrew Colburn knew in 1995. James Lake knew in 1995. And two people in the lawsuit find the evidence, and people ask, is Stephen Avery guilty or not? My God, what do people want? How obvious does it have to be that he's innocent? The very fact that we're asking the question, is he guilty, is the answer to the question. No. The aftermath of evidence that Ken Kratz, has put out there is not evidence, it's speculation, it's third-hand information. It's ludicrous. Stephen Avery comes to the door in a towel. Someone could come to my door now. I could be in a towel. Does that mean I am a murderer? Purely because I came to the door in a towel. They made reference to Stephen Avery phoning to his Hallback to somehow set up an alibi. Yet when Stephen Avery phones, he doesn't leave a voicemail saying, where was you today, Teresa? I thought he was coming. If Stephen Avery were going to set up an alibi, and that was his plan, and then why didn't he leave a voicemail? Why phone off an unknown number if he was setting up an alibi? Why? And if he didn't, and then just phone. If he was trying to establish an alibi, then just say, where was you today? I thought he was coming, but he didn't. Third-hand information from an inmate in prison saying Stephen was talking about a dungeon. Now this person who relayed this information is a known criminal. I'm not judging no one here. I'm just stating where this information has come from and who's saying it. This information's come from a known armed bank robber. I'm sure he don't go around handing out cookies. And then Ken Kratz is the one relaying this information, and he's coming from the state. Look who's giving you this information. Ken Kratz, the state prosecutor. And people ask, unbelievable, they take these things seriously. As in the towel, the phone calls when he didn't establish no alibi. It didn't establish, because any person trying to establish an alibi would say, where was you today? They'd phone off a known number to establish the alibi. It defeats the purpose if you're trying to establish an alibi, but you leave no evidence of either a call or your voice saying, where was you? And the further hand information coming from this inmate, look where it's coming from. Look who's saying it. Ken Kratz talks about the DNA under the hatch, like that's evidence. Like DNA under the hatch explains the blood planted in the car. Like that is the answer to that question. No, it's not. It adds to that question. If the DNA in the car was planted, and it was, right, and then what he's talking about now will also be planted. Why would that explain that? It doesn't answer the fact that people know that was planted. It doesn't prove, it doesn't answer anything. It's ludicrous. But we live in a society where these things can happen because they're in positions. And all they are is people in positions. I could become a police officer today. Well, not in that sense. But if I was, say, a builder, and I decided to go to the police force, does that mean if I build up through the ranks, I can just do what I want because I'm a police officer? So I could be a builder, commit a crime, and I will face the law. I will face the judicial system as it's meant to be. Yet if I change my career and then go into the police force and work up through the ranks and become a high-ranking police officer, I can do what I want. I'm exempt from justice. I can get paid by the taxpayer and put innocent people in prison to protect my crimes. Now that's not right, is it? And is that a type of world we want to live in, where people can just do what they want, go around getting paid to put innocent people in prison while they protect their crimes? The taxpayer is paying them to do a job, to uphold the law, to make sure the judicial system is right and it's working. And what they're doing, they're using it to protect themselves. They're getting paid to protect their own crimes while keeping innocent people in prison. Stephen Avery, 18 years in prison of his life. And now, a further 9 years in prison for their crimes. And how obvious do people want it? I'm sorry for my tone. But how obvious do people want this? That they knew. If anyone doesn't know about 19... All you've got to ask, all you've got to look at is the first case of Penny Bernstein. You've got to look at that. And that's the motive there. That's the motive there. For this motive, it all connects. The first crime they knew he was innocent. And because of the lawsuit, that's why they pinned him on this. They didn't kill Teresa, but they seized the opportunity to frame him. That's what they did. And if anyone is in question if he's guilty or not, just look at the Penny Bernstein. Look at the $36 million lawsuit. And look at Andrew Colburn and James Lane 2 weeks prior being involved in the lawsuit. And then look at the people who found the evidence. Look at the people who shouldn't have even been on the scene. They shouldn't have even whispered Stephen Avery's name. They shouldn't have even been near a file of Stephen Avery's because of conflict of interest. And yet they're the ones who find the evidence, and people are saying, oh, well, police wouldn't do that. Why would they do that? Well, I reckon $36 million, lives at stake, reputations at stake, jobs, everything at stake. I reckon that's a pretty motive. And if you need to ask yourself, would they do it? Well, they knew in 1985 he was innocent of Penny Bernstein. They knew that. They had information right from day one. They knew in 1995 they did not lead further investigations into the fingernail scrapings. And people are scratching their heads. And they can do that. Why? Based on what? Based on they're in the positions. Based on that they're in that job. They can do what they want. Do you know one thing I read today? It's exhausted all his appeals. It's exhausted all his appeals. Look where their appeals are going. They're going to the same judges that was involved in the Gregory Allen in the first case, right? And then involved in this case. Their appeals are going to the people, you know, who don't want this to come out. They're going to the people who are part of this. And they are. That is a fact. That is the reality of it. And if anyone doesn't think so, and then people are really naive to the system, I'm sorry, but this can't happen unless this changes. Then it'll continue. And people like this will be in those positions, and it'll continue. This has been going on for decades. Innocent people going to prison, and they know. And what happens? It gets pushed under the carpet. If Stephen and Brendan got released today, do you think any police officer, any politician, anyone is going to face justice for this? Are they going to go to prison for this? Are they going to spend 18 years of their life in this and a further 9 years in prison for this? Are they going to spend 37 years in prison for this? No, but you know what? They should, because they're the ones guilty of this crime, not Stephen Avery and not Brendan Dassey. And I don't want to live in a world like this where we can't even trust the judicial system to do its job that it's paid to do. Paid by the taxpayer. Paid to protect society. Not put innocent people in prison. We do really live in an unjust world, we really do. And I'm finding it hard to understand that these people can be born. They can get to 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 and get in positions and just do what they like. You can go around putting innocent people and they can do what they like. Why? Based on what? Based on in their positions. Stephen and Brendan should get a retrial now based on the evidence from 2007. They should get a retrial. They broke every protocol, every procedure. There is enough evidence in there to warrant a retrial. And this preparation for what? Why are the states suing Netflix? Why are the states suing the filmmakers? This is defamation, surely. Defamation of character. This is slander. Unbelievable. Anyway. People just don't understand. I mean, I don't understand. You've got to take away the buildings. You've got to take away the In God We Trust. You've got to take away the fancy suits and all that kind of stuff, right? And all the surrounding factors to history, to democracy, to the judicial system. You've got to take away the Supreme Court and put it down to basics. And you've got criminals in positions that are putting innocent people in prison to protect their crimes. Break it down, take away the fancy suits, because that's all they are, fancy suits. And you know why? You know those fancy suits, they can afford fancy suits, because they're getting paid money. They're getting paid a lot of money to buy those fancy suits. You take away that money and what they've got nothing. The only reason they stood there, with the nice shirts and the nice ties and the nice blouses and the nice perm there, is because of money given by the taxpayer. That's why they stood there, dressed all nicely. But what they're getting paid for? To protect their criminals in nice suits. And that's a fact. That's the reality of it. Unless something changes, unless people start speaking out and stop being afraid of these corrupt politicians, these corrupt police officers, these people just go around doing what they want, then nothing's going to change. And we are going to live in society where the police can do what they want and the public will be in fear, because this has been going on for a long time and it'll continue to go on. And I, for one, I'm getting sick of people being paid to protect their own crimes.